Okay, it's time to take it down. Woo! I did it. The room is empty. We got some places to put coral and water. Hi everybody, John here with another FinCast, and it is unfortunately time to tell you that my 180-gallon reef has sprung a leak. As I showed you in my last FinCast, it's a leak that's in a part of the sump. It's somewhere in the plumbing, and we can't even figure out where the drip is coming from. It's a very slow leak. It doesn't appear to be in the aquarium itself, but it's time to take the whole thing down and give it another look. There were a bunch of issues with this old aquarium. Number one, the stand was old. It wasn't really designed to have a sump underneath it. It was just kind of designed to hold a fish tank and maybe give you some storage. So access was extremely cramped, and it's been difficult to work on this aquarium ever since the beginning. Despite all those things, the aquarium has actually been thriving, and it's been very happy, and the corals have been growing. Everything's been good, but now that there's a problem, there's a problem. The other thing with the old aquarium, as I mentioned, and I asked you, and many of you responded, I appreciate that, and many of you gave me the advice, which I intend to take, which is I had 4 lemon damselfish that I put in the aquarium when they were about that big. They were captive raised from ORA, and they were great fish for a long time, but now that they are that big, they had taken over the aquarium, they thought it was theirs, and I was basically not able to put any new fish in the tank because the damsels would go after them and kill them. So it wasn't a good thing. And even though I liked watching the damsels, I decided, I think maybe since I have to take the whole tank down and I can actually catch them, it's time to take them out and rehome them. So that's something that also needed to happen. So one of the things that's going to happen with this new stand is we're going to take out the old sump, which had some issues, partly because one of the compartments broke during shipping. We were able to make it work anyway, but it's always bugged me. So we have ordered a new and paid full price for a Trigger Platinum sump with a fleece roller system to replace filter socks. This is a relatively new technology. I don't say it's brand new, but it's kind of now they've kind of got it figured out. And so that sump will be going in underneath this, and we'll be showing you how we install that, and I'll be talking about some of the advantages of that. And if it works the way that I'm hoping, I'm going to be able to, especially with the damsels out, maybe even overstock this aquarium with fish. Now, I'm going to try to move this along as quickly as I can, but this is a big process. So you are going to see what it takes to take out 180 gallons of water, all the corals, all the fish, and then you will see all of that stored in trash cans in my living room. By the way, I asked my wife to kind of maybe not be around for the day because it's kind of scary when you look at it, but I think that you will see that everything we went through hopefully was worth it. And again, you're going to see me speed up the video where I think things got boring, but I want to take you through the whole process, through the whole day, and I hope that you'll stick with me on it. One of the things that you will see is how difficult it was to lift the aquarium back onto the new stand, which was several inches higher than the old stand. And there was 3 young guys, my son Ben, and then two of the guys that work with us for Carlin Aquarium Systems, Tony and Steven, and then me. And when we went to lift the aquarium up the first time, I thought we were going to have a catastrophe. So look for that. One of the reasons that was so bad was because I wanted to keep the sand bed in the aquarium, so we had all that extra weight and just a little bit of water, because I've got this beautiful growth of feather dusters, a whole colony of them. In fact, they just kind of started springing up all over the aquarium, and they're not the little ones that you see on the rocks. They're the big purple feather dusters that you actually would buy in a store, and I've literally got dozens of them growing in the aquarium. And I knew if I took the sand bed out, I was going to lose those. So I didn't want to take the sand bed out, so when we lifted it, we had to lift it with the sand in it, and that made it just that much harder. The other thing I would say you want to watch for is there are a number of massive corals in this aquarium. They started out as frags, and now some of them are this big, and I wanted to be extremely careful with them. And also, you know, I've been watching these corals grow for so long, and I was really, really nervous about taking them out of the aquarium, keeping them safe in the meantime, and then getting them back in the tank and getting the water back in the tank, get everything set back up and get the water flowing as fast as I could, because I did not want to lose these massive corals, because I've kind of fallen in love with them, watching them grow over the last basically 2 years. One of the things we did, and that's why I had all these trash cans in my living room, is we saved 90% of the water, and then we're going to bring in about 10% of new salt water, so kind of like a water change. But I wanted everything to stay the same for these corals and for the fish, so when we put everything back in the aquarium, it wasn't like they were going to have to adjust to a new environment. And so the question is did all of that work? Were we able to get the aquarium back on the stand? How did we avoid the catastrophe? Did the fish live? Did the corals live? And I'll pop in back on the other side to show you how things happen. So here's a look at the big move. And here we go.
So we have the new stand out here. The first one that we've been using really isn't designed for having like a sump underneath. So it's kind of funny to think of like the door configuration as a feature, but just literally the fact that you can access from the whole front makes a massive difference when it comes to servicing.
So what do we got there?
So both sides of the stand just slides on out. You can access the sides, get to your bulkheads. It'll make life easy.
Something's happening over there. What is that splashing coming off of the return?
All right, so what are we doing right now?
So currently we are in the process of, Steven is taking apart all of the plumbing. I am draining the bulk of the water. Tony is doing what we're going to call sensitive water because it's holding livestock. So
Got it.
he's going a little bit less rapid with the drain, but has more livestock in his hands.
What is the problem with removing that coral?
The problem is your coral has grown so well, it's attached itself to 3 or 4 different rocks. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to cut the coral off of a couple of the rocks just so we're physically able to take it out of the tank.
Just a bunch of corals, some frog spawns,
Yeah, like-
torches, some SPS stuff.
It's time to cut some coral off. Not as finessed as it would like to be, but gets the job done.
Woo!
That did it.
Okay.
Less attached than I thought it was.
All right, let's be very careful with that baby.
Yep.
Throw it in this big thing.
Ooh, okay, there it is.
Wow, that is a freaking chunk.
This rock isn't
Yeah,
really
it's like
attached.
this big.
There's the frag plug, the original frag plug in it. There it is.
There it is right there. Holy cow. That thing just took off.
Yeah.
Yeah, this piece grew on this. Is this like a Tonga?
Yeah, that's
rock?
Tonga. That's what I wanted it to do.
Yeah, it like welded itself on. It's pretty sturdy.
Yeah,
There's the original frag plug,
right there.
but it's part of the rock now. Yeah.
That's cool when you don't very often get to see those.
There's lots of little acans and stuff in there that look dead or that are growing, so be careful, they're just retracted.
I gotta reach him here.
Don't get stuck.
3, 2, 1, lift, forward, watch backs, and down.
That's not bad. That wasn't bad.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Easy. Go team.
So we got this light that is going to come on. It's motion sensor, and then
Yeah.
it'll go where?
So it's going to be inside of the stand. The motion sensor will obviously go off when you open the cabinet door. So one of the issues whenever you're wanting to light your sump is that, like, if you have like a switch light on, it's very easy to leave it on and then you just grow algae in your sump, which you don't want because it just doesn't look good. Otherwise it's just a pain in the butt. So the idea is to be able to open the cabinet door, have the lights come on, be able to see what you're doing, and then also have them go off when the door is shut.
And that'll go right up underneath.
Yeah, it'll be run along the interior of the
Right
stand.
along the interior of the stand. There's the new beautiful Trigger Systems sump. And that is going to be the key to pristine water and tons of fish. Are you looking forward to working with this?
Yeah. I'm really interested in the system. I always wanted to play around with one.
And I get to be the guinea pig.
Yay.
Sump pushed all the way to the back of the stand so there's a little bit of room in the foreground, or is it better if the sump is all the way forward so it's as close as possible? All right, ready?
Yep. Whoa.
Oh my god, I'm not entirely convinced that it wasn't made these dimensions for this exact reason.
Wow. So much easier than I thought it was going to be.
Skates across it.
Okay, you ready?
Yes, on 3, 2, 1, go! Go get down.
Okay. You guys described that as easy before.
Hang on. Let's go down.
It was high.
That was tall.
Yeah.
Every inch that we lower these is another inch we don't have to lift.
Alright.
You guys ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
Is it there?
It's there.
Water's going back in.
Okay.
It's a big step. How's everybody doing?
Everybody is good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fish.
Yeah, blue head wrasse, dotty back, yellow tang, hippo tang, clownfish, and a 4-line wrasse.
Yep. Oops. Dallas, let's see what we got.
That piece under is going to be pretty dead because it covered up the light from before, you know? Because it was kind of like oh, it did?
Okay.
Yeah. I thought it broke into like the 2 pieces.
Pretty big, right?
Yeah, it's big. It was tiny when we first had it.
Well, we want that
Definitely
to get a lot of light, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna go high in the middle. Brace it a little bit.
Okay, you're fishy fishy. Ooh, I think I got the wrasse. Got the wrasse. All right.
45.
Whee! Clownfish.
We have to glue that in.
Yeah.
So
Man,
I
that's
think
pretty
we're at
fish.
some amount of flax. Right?
Those.
Nice.
Okay. There it goes. Okay, so we can pump this water in the tank whenever you guys want. We probably need overflows before we do that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not quite
Yep.
there yet.
That's the last
Okay.
step. Is just to put it all together
All right.
and then redo some of the placements and stuff.
These guys have been hard at work, and I think we are ready for water. Now, we did have a few issues with some drips coming in out of the bulkheads with that hard plumbing, and it did take the guys a long time to finally get to that. It was a long day, I'm not going to lie. Everybody got here at like 9:30 a.m. We had breakfast, and people pretty much didn't leave until 8 o'clock in the evening, but the tank is put back together. I'll tell you, I'm still having issues getting the rollers to advance automatically in that new Platinum Sump, and it looks like some of the wires may have come separated from the motor during shipping. So that's something that we are going to have to look at. So in the meantime, I've just been advancing the wheels manually. It's very simple. There's a button, you press the button and the rollers go, and as they go you can see all the crud that's been picked up by the fleece roller. So the sump is actually working very well. It's just not automatic yet, and I haven't had the time to break it down, take it apart. But what's supposed to happen is when the water level comes up in that first compartment, it's supposed to hit a float, and that float is supposed to trigger it so it rolls, and then as the clean fleece replaces the dirty fleece, the water flows through more quickly and it lowers the water in that chamber, and that's supposed to happen automatically, but right now I'm having to do that manually. But be that as it may, that is something that it might be another video. We'll take a look at it. I don't think I want to blame it on them, but I have seen online that there have been some people who had to do that, and we did email Trigger, and they suggested that that might be the problem. So I'm going to get to the bottom of that eventually, and I'll figure it out. But in the meantime, I still like the technology, I still like the sump, and I still think this is a huge improvement over filter socks. Now, as to the animals, I told you how worried I was about losing fish, about losing corals because of the transition. Well, take a look at the aquarium. Those big corals, I can tell you, picked up where they left off. And in fact, I would say some of them even have greater tentacle extension, if that was possible, than they did beforehand. And that bird's nest coral is looking fantastic. The big chalice, which I had to trim way back because it was just too big, and I wanted to put it lower in the aquarium so it wasn't shading corals underneath it, has already healed itself, and it's already starting to grow again, and it won't be long before it's encroaching on other stuff, and I'll have to trim that back. So that's doing well. I did decide to rehome those 4 lemon damselfish. In fact, they're in an aquarium right here in my office right now. It's a smaller fish tank. I put 4 of them in there. I've only seen, I hate to laugh, I've only seen 2 of them recently, so either 2 of them have been forced into hiding or the 2 dominant ones have taken care of the 2 other ones. Eventually they'll be going into a much bigger client tank, but because it took so long that day and I just haven't had a chance to move those, I've got 2 that are doing really, really well, and again, they're very engaging and very interesting to watch, but I think that the smaller tank was just too small for 4 of them, so that is what it is, and I feel a little bit bad about that because I'm pretty sure there's only 2 of them left, but they are out of the big tank, and I have ordered some more fish, and I'll be adding those to the 180 in short order, and we'll be taking a look at those if and when they get in there and get established. I will tell you that that bluehead wrasse that's in that fish tank, which is absolutely one of my favorites. And whenever my grandchildren come over, it's one of their favorites. So everybody likes the bluehead wrasse, but it's starting to think that the whole 180 is his. And so I may have to look at rehoming that fish as well. And again, that's something that we're looking at down the road. But for now, everybody is happy and healthy. And man, I really like that wrasse, so that I hope that other fish that don't look like it can get established in that fish tank. So now that it's all over, we'll get that platinum sump up and working at some point, the trigger sump. I do love it. I do think it's going to work. I do think I can get more fish in that tank without having a detrimental effect on my nutrient levels. I'll start measuring those again once I get that set on auto. And I'm not nowhere near the fish population where I think it's going to put anything in danger or beyond the capacity of my filtration system to keep things within comfortable parameters. So those are things to look for coming up in the next video. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next FinCast.